Thank you for tuning in to the Shikama Live Show with your host, Shikama. So Gary Johnson is taking a very libertarian position, which really should resonate with every American. Just let me give you a little bit of history. The IRS was not in position until 1913. And guess what else was in position in 1913? That's right, the Federal Reserve Bank, which is a private bank. They created the IRS to pay the Federal Reserve Bank as a guarantee that the Federal Reserve Bank would receive American money from the regular citizens. So, former 2012 Libertarian Party presidential candidate and former New Mexico Governor Gary Johnson, the ongoing controversy at the Internal Revenue Service is further proof the agency should be eliminated. Quote, imagine life without having to deal with the IRS, Johnson told New Mexico Watchdog in an interview just 2 days after a new development in the IRS story, in which former IRS official Lois Lerner warned colleagues to be careful about what they write in emails amid congressional inquiries. Quote, none of it surprises me, Johnson said. To a higher degree or a lesser degree, this is what happens when you have bureaucrats in charge that can manipulate the system any way they so choose. A federal judge on Thursday ordered IRS officials to explain under oath how Lerner's emails disappeared and how they might be recovered. Quote, come on, loss of emails? Give me a break, Johnson said. If that doesn't outrage anybody who looks at this, then you're out to lunch. Johnson called to abolish the agency date back to 2009 after he met with a number of economists, including Jeffrey Myron, director of undergraduate studies in the Department of Economics at Harvard, who became an advisor in Johnson's 2012 campaign. Quote, so let's abolish the IRS, let's eliminate income tax, let's eliminate corporate tax, let's balance the federal budget, and if we need a tax, it can be one federal consumption tax, Johnson said. But how would that work? Instead of collecting taxes from various sources, a consumption tax works from a single point of purchase. It takes people who, when they spend money on any given item or service, by eliminating income tax, sales tax, and others, the idea is that overall price would not go up and may, according to advocates, actually decrease the overall tax burden on citizens. Quote, I think a great starting point for a debate and discussion over a national consumption tax is, let's start with the fair tax. Legislation that has been written up and I think signed up on by 80 congressmen and women, said Johnson. Critics say that the consumption tax benefits people with higher amounts of savings and therefore could hit lower income households harder. Quote, under a consumption tax system, all savings would be tax-free. It would all be taxed like a 401k, said Lynn Berman, a senior fellow at the Left of Center Urban Institute in 2005 interview with PBS. But the question is, if people don't get the special tax break, will they still be putting money into retirement savings? And if they don't, if they just put it into their regular bank account, are they as likely to keep it until retirement? And a lot of people are concerned that, in fact, without the special tax breaks, you could actually end up with less retirement savings and possibly even less savings overall. Here's my point. That is their concern. They're adults. We're talking about adults. Are we not talking about adults? We're talking about a person, an individual person saving for their own retirement. The government should have nothing to say about that. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But Johnson said the advantage outweigh the disadvantages. Quote, why would any company anywhere in the world locate anywhere but the United States given zero corporate tax? Johnson said. The entire world will change their tax structure to emulate no income tax, no corporate tax, no more filing. Would it ever happen? After all, the current tax system is laden with incentives and tax breaks, such as deductions for charities. And let me go back to my beginning point. There was no income tax prior to 1913. The country got along fine. And if you think 1913 was such a long time ago and that the country is only so old, well, you're dead wrong. The country got along fine. When was our country founded? up until 1913. So we got along fine. The federal government got along fine. Everything was hunky-dory as far as taxes is concerned. Quote, I believe it will take place because at some point all these smart people will actually get with it, said Johnson, who has a page devoted to tax reform at the website for the Our American Initiative, a political advocacy committee he founded. Johnson made headlines last week for becoming the president and chief executive officer of Cannabis Sativa Incorporated, a small company based out of Nevada that sells products that come from extracted oil derived from marijuana plants, but they're not smoked. Instead, they're packaged as lozenges. Quote, we sell a product that's sublingual, so it's a sucked on product, very pleasant and I believe much safer than alcohol, Johnson said, adding the lozenges can be used for medical treatment as well as recreational use. In 1999, Johnson became the first governor in any state to call for the legalization of marijuana. And as you know, a couple of states have already completely decriminalized marijuana, meaning not only is it legal, but it is completely decriminalized. You cannot go to jail for handling, using, selling marijuana. I remain the only governor that has ever espoused legalizing marijuana to this day, Johnson said. Since being named CEO, Johnson said the company's stock jumped 2 points. Tens of millions of Americans use marijuana. Those people make up half of everyone we know, Johnson said. These are our friends. These are our families. These are our coworkers. And you can label their choice to use marijuana as a bad choice, but I'm going to say it's not criminal. Our kids are not criminal. Our parents are not criminal. Our coworkers are not criminal. Our friends are not criminal. Tell me what you think about abolishing the IRS with the knowledge that it did not exist prior to 1913 and the country got along fine. And the government should not be involved in our retirement or taxing. You know, the 401k is just a big, huge government tax, right? All it is you put your money into companies. You have to put your money into companies on Wall Street. It's a big, huge scam. That's all it is. And when the bottom fell out of the market, who suffered the consequences? The companies? No, you did. Thank you for watching the Shikama Live Show.